Because as we talked about the Clippers debut and the Warriors debut last night, a great one for the – well, that wasn't the Clippers debut. A great game for the Clippers, a horrible debut for the Warriors. They lost by 19 points in the game. That wasn't
and it wasn't even that close, right? Let's just be honest.
Yep. The Houston Rockets, certainly one of, if not the most intriguing team in the league. Of course, two certain Hall of Famers, honestly, Rob, I don't think I'm overstating this. Two guys that are iconic. Am I overstating that? James Harden and Russell Westbrook?
No, I don't think so. Westbrook, when you average a triple-double 3 years in a row and nobody had done it for 40 years.
Right, and only one guy had ever done it for one season.
Right. I mean, so yes, I agree with that. I just think it's really not, and this is the thing about duos. Individually, they are great players.
Yes,
but will they
question.
fit together to make the right duo? Batman and Robin. Do you know what I mean? Can they play off of each other? Can they make it? Can they elevate each other, or do they hinder each other?
Well,
that's what we have to find out.
It's one game, but if you believe in what happened last night, the answer would be no. They lost 117 to 111.
Gave up 30,
to the Milwaukee
39
Bucks.
points in the fourth quarter, right?
Yep. And of course, with Mike D'Antoni, any of his teams, you're going to talk about the defense and not being able to get stops when you need it. And that's what you saw last night. Giannis, who had a great game, 30 points, 12 assists, 13 rebounds. It was 30 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Opening game of the season, gets a triple-double. He fouled out with about 5 minutes left. And the Bucks still were able to hold on and win that game. They had been down big early. And Rob,
I got to admit, when I saw the score this morning, shocked.
Oh, because when you went to bed or whatever, it was
they were down big.
Yeah, Houston had a big lead. But the thing is this, and let me give you their numbers for Westbrook and Harden. Russell Westbrook, 24 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists, shot 7 for 17 from the floor, plus minus of 0. James Harden, 19 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds, only 2 for 13 from the floor, and a -3 plus minus. Here's what I saw. You hit it on the head. They're great individual players. And to be quite honest, we've seen James Harden in Mike D'Antoni's system. The boy is insane. He's out of his mind. He's doing things that you just hardly anybody has ever done. We saw it the last few seasons.
Last year he averaged more points
MVP.
Since Michael Jordan, right? I mean, that's how long it's been. Nobody's done that.
36 points a game.
Right.
And Westbrook, when the ball was in his hands and he was pushing the ball, surrounded by three-point shooters, he looked great and it looked good. Because if he didn't get to the rim and finish, he could kick it out to a three-point shooter, and a lot of times they knock the shots down. The problem is this, Rob. You said it. Will they make each other better? Will they elevate each other? No. It's going to have to be taking your turn. Russ, you got this time. James, you got this time. Because Mike D'Antoni, first of all, they're high ball usage rate guys, two of the highest in history.
They were both 1 and 2 last year.
Yep. And they have the first and second most highest usage rate for a season in NBA history. Now whether they can do it is a question, but I think for them to really work to the tune of winning a title, because let's keep it real, they're gonna be good. They're going to win a lot of games, and they're going to be a team you don't want to play in the playoffs.
That's not what they're together for.
They might get to the second round, but Chris Paul, if you just wanted to get to the conference finals, you could have kept Chris Paul. This is about winning a title, and I don't think they can win a title because their games don't complement each other. And furthermore, Mike D'Antoni is not, I think for those two to work together, you'd have to put in some type of system where there's movement and where Russ is moving when James has the ball, James is moving when Russ has the ball, and you can get Russ cutting and things like that. This is not, I'm not making this up. When you ask Mike D'Antoni, James Harden how it's going to work, this is their answer. We'll figure it out.
Right. They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan.
They playing street ball.
Right. And the other thing too is I just Mike D'Antoni. I know it's not always fair, but I just have zero confidence that he's going to be able. He's had good teams. You know how many games he's won during the regular season, Chris?
I'm in the minority.
Okay.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I know you say it.
You think that's crazy?
I think he's had way too much talent to not have gone. He hasn't even been to the finals. I mean, right? I'm not even talking about going and losing.
Right.
You remember those Phoenix Suns teams? Are you kidding?
No, they took the regular season by storm.
Changed
the game.
Yes.
That's why I do think he's at least Hall of Famer. Look, Don Nelson. You know the game.
I know
Don Nelson is
too.
a Hall of Famer. Never got. I don't believe he ever got to the finals.
Did he? I think he maybe
won.
once.
He had those one. Maybe he got there. Never won a championship.
Some of those Bucks teams were really good.
He had
but
really
you're
good
right.
teams.
Yeah.
Dallas, he had good teams. So I think if he's in, that's the class I put Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah,
in.
I guess if you got to look at it that way, but I'm just saying he's had a ton of talent and not nearly enough.
No, you're right. But it is, and the thing is, a lot of what went viral was the argument that the two of them had. And
yes,
you showed it to me right when it happened.
Because I saw it, I was like, "Did you see this?" Like,
yeah.
Because I just thought, isn't this game one? Or isn't this their opener?
I don't think it's a big deal.
No,
I mean,
it
having
just seemed
played
weird.
sports, you get in the arguments with teammates, and look, the media, we blow it out of proportion. I'll even say this: I don't think the media has really blown this one out of proportion.
No, they just showed it.
Right. I mean, with LeBron, if he's sitting on the end of the bench away from his teammates, we make it a big deal. It may not be a big deal at all.
It's just optics.
Right.
It's
the optics were bad, but I will say this, Rob. I think it's human nature. And I think Russ and James are very good friends. We know they've known each other since they were like 10 years old. I think they both have the greatest of intentions, which is, look, if we have to sacrifice some of our game, we'll do it to win a championship. So I think they're going into this with the right attitude, but I think that over time, it's going to get frustrating for both of them. If they can't, like when Russ has got it going, James can't be James. When James has it going, Russ can't be Russ. That's the problem.
But how can you tell James Harden averaged 36 points not to be? Do you know what I mean? Like to pull back.
They're probably best
right?
if they let him do what he's doing, which is average 35 points
That's
a game.
What I'm saying.
Where's Russ fit in that?
Well, that's the problem. That's why you don't think, and I don't think, and most people don't think, that it's a fit. And there are some other people on the other spectrum, on the other side, Chris, national NBA guys who think that this team has a chance and that they got.
Skip Bayless thinks they're going to have the best record, be the number one seed. Now, he's not saying they're going to win the championship.
Right, because he says the Clippers will win the championship, but he's saying that they could be. I don't see them having the best, right? The number one seed. I can see Denver before I can see, right?
I agree.
With the young guys, they got energy. They could play, and maybe the Clippers say, like, we're not going to burn ourselves out trying to win 73 games. We don't need to do that. Just be ready for the playoffs with some older guys.
Right. Yeah, it's they're going to be fun to watch. And what the people that like the Rockets say, because I've talked to guys around the league who really like it, and guys who have worked with one or the other or both of those guys, and they say, look, because they really like each other, they think it'll work. And in this point, I agree with. The one thing that is a plus for this pairing is that last year Houston played slower than just about anybody. They may have been slowest in the league in terms of pace, but they were down there at the bottom, near the bottom. Russell Westbrook brings another element. And when he gets the rebounds, as I said, he had 16 last night. Whether he gets the rebound or gets the outlet pass, he's going to push it. And they did push it last night, and that does bring another element to the Houston Rockets. The problem is when they're in the half court. Because, again, if James has the ball, what's Russ doing?
Is he spotted up in the corner? Or
he's going to be in the corner in the wing, and that's not his game. He's not a shooter. If you're an opposing defense, you are just shrinking the floor and giving Russ the three. I want you to take the three.
I dare you. Go ahead.
I'd rather you do that than penetrate, because that's where you're dangerous. And so and again, with D'Antoni just being like, hey, they're two great players. We'll figure it out. No, this isn't the rec league.
No, come up with some sort of game plan so they can figure it out. Everybody knows what they're doing, and you give yourself a chance. I agree. you just can't freelance and everything is a freelance. What are we trying to do here? Who are we? What's our goal? Our identity. What are we doing? And they don't have that yet.
No, they don't. All right, we're going to throw it out to you guys. What do you think of the Rockets? Can they make it work? They went down to the Bucks. There's no shame in that in game one. Can Harden and Westbrook challenge or win an NBA title together? Let's start with Dwight in Dallas. You're on with the Odd Couple, Dwight.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Man, love your show. I listen every single night.
Thank you, man. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Dwight.
Even though Rob be hating on LeBron every 5
That's
minutes.
all right. Hey. Hey, Dwight, is your radio on? Turn your radio. We can hear it in the background.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, listen real quickly. Man, James Harden just doesn't play winning basketball, fellas. He just doesn't. Regular season, he puts up all these 50 points and 50 assists and all of that. But when it comes to crunch time, he just doesn't get it done in the playoffs, man. They blame that whole thing on Chris Paul. Chris Paul, CP3 actually plays basketball the right way. If he didn't get hurt, I think they go on to win the championship.
Well, that's a good point that people act like it was a definitive failure with Chris and James.
Right.
And it was the first year that they have the Warriors with Kevin Durant healthy down 3-2 and Chris gets hurt. Now, that's the problem with Chris at this stage of his career.
He gets hurt all the time.
Right. But, no, it worked on the court.
They had a chance. Rodney in Omaha, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Rodney?
Hey, what I want to say is if Houston start blowing teams out early in the season, I think it's a wrap for the NBA.
Oh, gosh. Why?
Because they can sit either one of the players down, and they can still run the offense with no hiccups. And then
Clippers can't do that. Bucks can't do that. Bucks held on over the last 5 minutes without Giannis.
Man, Giannis needs some help. He
didn't need help last night.
But one thing I can say, the NBA is going to be so exciting this year, man. It's going to be unbelievable.
Can Houston win a title?
Yes or no, Rodney?
What?
Can Houston win a title with Harden and Westbrook?
Yes, they can. Like I said earlier.
That's your team this year.
Okay.
That's your pick.
We'll remember that, Rodney, from Omaha.
Let's go to Muhammad in Milwaukee. Muhammad, you're on with Chris and Rob.
Hey, fellas, how you guys doing? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, man. Thanks for weighing in.
Yeah, man, I feel like the Rockets, people are really underestimating them. You got 2 of the last 3 MVPs. I feel like if I ever told you 2 of the last 3 MVPs would be on the same team, that you would automatically consider them a title contender. I know they lost to the Bucks, but I'm from Milwaukee. I love the Bucks. Our system is made to guard Harden, and we've given Harden trouble over the past 3 years, so I wouldn't look too far into that.
That's true, but why do you think Russ and Harden are such a good fit? Because what Rob
Russ
and I
doesn't
disagree
just
with.
Russ and Harden both aren't just scorers.
Well, Harden is pretty much just a scorer. Now, he does pass and get assists.
But he doesn't play an ounce of defense.
Right. And if he's not scoring, he's not James Harden. You know that. It's scoring big.
Of course, yeah. No, of course. Harden is a huge scorer, but we've seen him average double-digit assists, or right around there, as well as we've seen him and Chris Paul work together, who's really another ball-dominant player that we couldn't imagine working together when they first made the team.
Well, here's the thing. I agree that it's going to work. I don't think Rob – I'm not saying they're not going to win a lot of games.
I didn't say that,
right.
Or they're not going to make the playoffs or something, like it's going to blow up in their face.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's going to be built to win a championship.
Right.
That's what I don't see. Mike in Virginia, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Mike?
What's good, fellas? What's good? Rob, did you open up my gift? Did you open up the Golden Girls DVD set?
Yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah, Mike.
You sent him that?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
He's already watched it, too.
You know I've watched it at night.
I asked Rob to give me the address for you, Chris, because I already got the White Shadows waiting for you. So,
I was just, man.
Well,
they'll
give
he
it
send
to
it
you.
to your house?
No, they'll
Rob G, give me my address. You got my address?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Here in L.A.
Yeah. All right, just send that to me. But
thank you,
being
brother.
a Rockets
Appreciate
fan,
it.
Of course, man. Of course, long time watcher of y'all at the old station, the old network. So you know.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
My Rockets. We cannot win a championship with that kind of basketball at all. I don't know why our defensive coach went to, I think he went to the Pelicans.
Bizdella, yes, he did, that's a big loss because he's a good defensive coach.
That's a loss, but D'Antoni and this street ball, that only works during the regular season. I mean, 82 games, that's when it can only work. But come playoffs, we need to really trade for a shooter. I don't like Eric Gordon. He is not consistent.
Really? I like Gordon. He is inconsistent, but I think that's the nature of a third option.
Well, that right there is one thing I don't like. It's a good combination. I'd rather see my boy CP3. I grew up with him a long time ago. I'd rather see him than Russell, but Russell brings that effort, that
tenacity,
he does
energy and tenacity. He's definitely.
That's why you're not
hold
gonna,
on the mic, okay?
Even though
so
they're not going to go deep
on.
in the playoffs, that's what is going to make them a nuisance in the playoffs.
No,
the fact that Russ brings in his energy and James is so
you
got to
do something different. Hey, Logan in Minnesota, you're on The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. Hey, Logan.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, man?
Okay, long-time listener, first-time caller. Love your show and especially Trash Talking Tuesdays.
There we go, my man. Very nice,
Thank you, Logan. Thank you, brother. Make sure you call in and trash talk
That's
next
right.
week.
Yeah. Okay, hear me out. I'm calling it Rockets lose in second round.
Oh, I think that's
probably legit. Yep,
right.
and fair. So
they could go down in the first round, but I think that's a safe pick.
Yeah, so you don't see that they have enough to really make a run at a championship.
No, I mean, James Harden, all he does is shoot, and he never passes. The problem is that Russ wants to pass and play aggressive, and he passes to James Harden, but James Harden doesn't pass it back. So it's not going to help them at all. And James Harden's just...
Look, both of them get a lot of assists, but they're not Chris Paul, LeBron James assists. You know, they're assists where
Thanks for the call, Logan.
I will give them this. One thing that was great that both of them did last night was the lob. They both threw a number of lobs to Clint Capella, and he finished at the rim. So that part is definitely a big plus for them. But I just think it's just not going to be a great fit as far as winning a championship. Hey, it's The Odd Couple. I'm Chris. He is Rob. And we want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. You know, you can listen to us on the radio, and now you can watch us as well, and it's fun.